we will be learning about projection from top of the tower in this video lecture. For that, let me take one tower. Consider this is a tower. Let me take this as tower, and height of this tower, let me consider this height of the tower as h. Okay, and you are now throwing a body from top of the tower. Now let us consider here is a ball. This ball is being projected from top of the tower. This ball is exactly at the top of the tower. Now you are projecting this body from top of the tower. It is not ground to ground projection. It is projection from top of the tower. Previously in the last video lectures we have discussed that ground to ground projection. Body is projected from the ground and it is reaching exactly onto the ground. But this is quite different because you are taking this body at the top of the tower and from this tower you are projecting it. So when you are projecting it, again we have three different cases. You can project this body such that it makes an angle with the horizontal, which is oblique projection from top of the tower. And the other one is you can project the same body which is exactly with horizontal velocity. And another way is you can project this body making an angle theta in downward direction. Like we have three possible cases here. This is case 1 and this is case 2 and this is case 3. Okay, and this first case which we are considering, that is oblique projection from top of tower. So case 1 is called oblique projection. It is called oblique projection from top of tower. That means you are standing on the top of the tower and you are projecting it obliquely. Obliquely in the sense it is making some angle theta with respect to x-axis. Case 2 is called horizontal projection. Case 2 is called horizontal projection from top of the tower. And case 3, it is called downward projection, or you can take it as oblique projection down to the horizontal from top of the tower. Three different cases we have. In the first case you are projecting it obliquely, and in the second case you are been projecting this body horizontally, and in the third case it is making an angle with respect to x-axis. Now let me take one x-axis here. Let me consider this is horizontal. I'll just erase this and let me take this is one horizontal axis. Okay, and in this horizontal axis, with this horizontal axis, the first body it is being projected by an angle theta upward with the horizontal, and in the second case what is angle? Theta is equal to 0, and in the third case down to the horizontal it is projected with some angle delta. down to the horizontal, you are projecting it with some angle delta. So three possible cases we have. In the first case, how does this body fall? This body would fall like this. In the first case, the body falls, it goes up to some height, and then it take this path, and finally it reach this ground. And in the second case, this body, as it is being projected, it fall down like this. And in the third case, this body would fall like this. Okay, this is case 1, this is case 2, and this is case 3. All the three bodies take different path, but all these travel parabolic path. Path of all bodies is parabola. Path of all the bodies are parabola, and all bodies move under effect of gravity. All the bodies move under the effect of gravity, because for all these bodies there is a gravitational force which is acting in downward direction. So therefore, when you are dealing with any projection, whether it is oblique projection upward or downward, or whether it is horizontal projection from top of the tower, in all these cases the bodies are under the influence of gravitational force, but the path taken by all these bodies are different. But however, in all the cases, the path seen from the ground, if a person who is standing on the ground, and if he observe these three bodies which are falling from top of the tower, which is being projected as shown in the figure, for him all the projected bodies seems to be same parabolic path, and all of them move under gravity. And remember, in all these three cases, initial velocity along x-axis is constant, because acceleration along x-axis is 0 for all the bodies, because you are just throwing it, you are not continuously acting force on the body, you are just projecting it, you are just giving some force on the body, you are throwing it and you are leaving. So as there is no continuous force, only horizontally you are projecting, therefore acceleration along x-axis is 0. Therefore at any point if you see, velocity along x-axis will be remain same. But what about velocity along y direction? This is not constant, because acceleration along y direction is not equal to 0. Acceleration along y direction is equal to acceleration due to gravity, that is g. Therefore, in all these cases, horizontal velocities will be remain same, but vertical components will be changed. Just like how we have seen in oblique projection, ground to ground projection, even in that case also we have learned the same thing. As there is no acceleration along x-axis, velocities along x-axis or the components which are resolved along x-axis will be remain same, but velocities along y direction will be varied. When it is going up, component magnitude decreases. When it is coming down, component magnitude increases with respect to time. Right, this is about projection from top of the tower. Three different cases we have individually. Now we will learn one by one. So first case, second case, third case individually, like from easy to hard, we will learn. So first case, second case, third case individually we will be discussing. Now let us see horizontal projection. Horizontal projection, and this is case 2. Case 2, which we have discussed earlier, this comes under case 2. We will first learn this because it is easy to understand, and the final equation part also become very simple when you learn this. Now let us consider a tower. This is tower. And this tower has height h. and you are throwing a body, and that body is being projected in such a way it is projected horizontally with some velocity. That horizontal velocity I am denoting it with this. That is velocity along x-axis. Because it is purely given velocity along x-axis, that is ux. What would happen now when you are projecting this body along x-axis? This would take this path, like it comes, it come and finally fall at this position. So horizontally it is traveling some distance, right? And this horizontal distance which it is traveling from here to here, it is known as range, and this distance I am considering it as r. You can take it even r also, or you can take it as x, r or x. R stands for range, x stands for distance traveled along x-axis. Maximum distance traveled along x-axis itself is called as range. Therefore, x will be equal to r. Now, let me take this position at the highest point. Like this point, I am considering it as A. And somewhere in middle, I am considering it as point B. And at the end, I am considering it as point C. We have three different positions. Now we will first write down equations for velocities, and after that we will write down equations for displacement. Now, as we already know, like first we will see from positions A, B, C. Velocities at different positions. First at position A. At position A, what is velocity along x-axis? Ux is not equal to 0, and ux is already been given, like it can be projected with 5 meter per second, 10 meter per second, 20, any value you can take there. And what about velocity along y direction? It is 0, because you are not throwing it in upward direction or downward direction. It is purely horizontal. Therefore, velocity along y direction initially at point A, it is 0. Okay, that is initial velocity at A, x along x-axis and y-axis. And acceleration along x-axis will be 0. Acceleration along y-axis will be equal to g. That is at position A. Now come to position B. What would happen now at position B? Clearly you can see that at position B it is having some velocity which is in the plane. Velocity at B. This is velocity at B. VB is neither horizontal nor vertical. Therefore, you can resolve that into components. One component along x-axis, one component along y-axis. Okay, and these components can be written as V, B, Y and V, B, X. Okay, so at velocity B, like at point B, V, B, X, velocity along x-axis will be same to same as that of initial velocity, since acceleration is 0. Coming to V, B, Y, velocity at point B in y direction is equal to, in order to find out final velocity, you can use equations of motion. V is equal to u plus at. Therefore, u at A in y direction plus acceleration along y direction into time taken to travel from A to B. Right? This equation is clear. So time taken to travel from A to B I am considering here. And what about velocity at A along y direction? It is 0. Therefore, VBY is equal to 0 plus acceleration due to gravity is g into time taken to travel from A to B. Therefore, velocity at position B along y direction is equal to g into time taken B, which is not equal to 0. Therefore, when the body is coming down, what should happen to its velocity? Velocity goes on increases. Therefore, when body is coming from A to B, its velocity increases with respect to time. Okay. Now coming to C, position C. Let me take position C here. At position C, this is velocity, and I will be denoting it with Vc. And even at position C also, we have two components. One component along x-axis and the other component along y-axis. Okay. So I'll write down them at C. What about C? Velocity at C along x-axis will be equal to initial velocity, that is same as it is at A, B, C, and velocity at C along y direction is equal to velocity at A along y direction plus acceleration along y direction into time taken to travel from A to C. Therefore, velocity at C along y direction is equal to 0 plus g into time taken to A to C is nothing but time of descent. Time of descent is equal to under root 2 h by g, which we have already derived in motion under the motion under gravity. Time of descent formula is under root 2 h by g. This we have already derived. If you do not know that, then watch previous video lectures. So Vc along y direction will be equal to g into under root 2 h by g, where h is this height of the tower. This is height h, which is height of the tower. Right? That is velocity at different points. And in all these cases, what is your observation? You might have observed one thing, that only component along y-axis is changing, along x-axis it is same. Therefore, initial velocity at A, initial velocity at B, initial velocity at C along x-axis. Along x-axis it is the same. Now coming to velocity along y direction, velocity at C along y direction is greater than velocity at C along B direction is greater than velocity at A along y direction. Is it not? When body is coming from top to bottom, what happens to its velocity? Definitely it increases. Therefore, vertically when the body is falling down, velocity increases. Horizontally, everywhere it is remained constant. And acceleration is everywhere constant. Acceleration along x-axis is 0 and acceleration along y-axis will be equal to g. Okay, so there is only acceleration along y direction. That's the reason why velocity increases with respect to time in downward direction. Now let us see how much is the displacement traveled by the horizontal projectile from A to C. So first let us see horizontal displacement. Horizontal displacement is x, or you can call it as range. Okay, so how do you write horizontal displacement? Horizontal displacement x is equal to horizontal velocity into total time of flight. Time of flight here will become time of descent, because it is only falling down from A to Z. It is just falling down. Therefore, you can write it as time of descent. So x can be written as horizontal velocity. You are providing ux into what is time of descent? Under root 2h divided by g. This is equation for horizontal range traveled by the horizontal projectile, that is along x-axis. Now let us learn what about vertical displacement. Vertical displacement is very easy. That's very simple, because vertically you already know how much distance it is traveling. Vertical displacement of the body. Vertical displacement of the body it is denoted with y, which is equal to h. H is equal to tower height. Therefore, vertically y is equal to h, and horizontally x is equal to ux under root 2h divided by g. This is horizontal length traveled and vertical length traveled by the body. Now let us see what happens if you are projecting obliquely a body from top of the tower. Now, as you are projecting this body from top of the tower, definitely, as I told you, at the highest point, like let me first mention these points. Let me take this point as A, this point as B, this point as C, and this point as D. 4 different points I am choosing. A and B are at the same level. Check it up. A and B are at the same level. So you need to understand that A and B are at same level. So therefore, from A to B, it is, you can consider it as ground to ground projection. Therefore, from A to B, we consider it as ground to ground. Ground to ground projection. It is identical to ground projection. Therefore, from A to B, all equations you can take as it is, like for projectile motion. You can take time of flight is equal to 2u sine theta by g. TF1, let me take it as TF1, and h traveled is equal to, this is not height of the tower. Let me consider this height. Understand clearly, this height I am talking about. This height, h is equal to u square sine square theta divided by 2g, and time of flight we have got, h we have got, and range r is equal to u square sine 2 theta divided by g. These all values as it is will be remain same from A to B. I am talking only about A to B. Next, in this case also, as we already know, velocity along x-axis, you can resolve that velocity into components. You can resolve this u into one component along x-axis, one component along y-axis. I am resolving it into resolving with red ink, and I can simply write this as u cos theta along x-axis, and vertically it is u sine theta, right? So now you are taking theta because when the angle initial velocity is being projected, it is making some angle with horizontal. In the previous case, we did not resolve it because it is not making any angle with the horizontal. So theta becomes 0 in the previous case. But now here theta is u cos theta, or like it is not equal to 0. So I am resolving those components. So ux can be written as u cos theta, and acceleration along x-axis is 0. Next, velocity along y direction, that is u sine theta, but body is going upward. Upward I am considering it as negative, and acceleration along y direction will be equal to g, and this is positive. Okay, reference what I am considering is upward I am taking as negative, downward I am taking it as positive. Downward I am taking positive, upward I am taking negative. This is the reference which I am choosing in order to handle with this oblique projection from top of the tower. Now I can find out at any particular point, you can find out velocity and as well as displacements. First let me calculate velocities. Velocity at different points. Velocity at different positions. First let me consider at A. At A, we have initial velocity along x-axis as u cos theta, and velocity along y direction it is u sin theta. Because it is being projected with initial velocity u, I am resolving it into components. Acceleration along x-axis is equal to 0. Acceleration along y-axis is g. That is at point A. Next at point B. Check it up. At point B, you can take its velocity in this direction, and that can be resolved into components. One component horizontal, one component vertical, which is represented with yellow color. And as we already know, along x-axis it remains same. Here it is u cos theta, but along y-axis when it is coming down it is u sin theta, but it is in which direction? Downward, therefore it is plus. And clearly in this part you need to take one minus sign. Here you need to take one minus because velocity along y direction at point A is upward, therefore I am taking it as minus u sin theta. This is minus u sin theta. Now coming to B, velocity along x-axis it is remained same as it is u cos theta, and velocity along y-axis it is plus u sin theta, and I'm taking it plus because it is in downward direction. So magnitude of velocity at point A and point B will be equal. Magnitude of velocity at A, magnitude of velocity at B are equal. You should understand that. That is at point B. Now let us take at point C. Right? Now when you are considering point C, this is the vector which you need to resolve. And I can resolve that vector into components, one component along horizontal, one component along vertical. I am denoting it with light blue color. So here you can write this as u cos theta, and this is vertical velocity Vc. I am writing it as Vc, velocity at position C. So u along x-axis will be remained same as it is u cos theta. But what about vertical velocity? V at C is equal to u at B plus g into time taken from B to C. I'm taking only from B to C. I'm not considering it from A to C, because literally position at A and position at B are considered to be as the same because they are at same horizontal levels. That's the reason why when it is in downward journey, I'm taking position B as the reference rather than taking position A as the reference. So that is Vc. So Vc is equal to, what is velocity at B? Velocity at B is u sin theta. As it is downward, I can take it plus acceleration due to gravity is g, and time taken is from B to C. This is not equal to 0. That is velocity at C. And the last it is velocity at D. It's completed. Velocity at D, you can resolve velocity at D. Velocity at D will be in this direction, right? This is velocity at D. I can resolve velocity at D also into components. And horizontal it remains same as it is. Vertical it is Vd. I need to write it there. Now I'll be writing it at D. Velocity along x-axis it is remains same, u cos theta as it is. And what about velocity at D? Velocity at D will be equal to initial velocity at position B plus acceleration g into time taken from B to D. Here also I am taking reference B, not A. Vd is equal to, what is ub? Plus u sin theta plus g into time Bd. Okay. And in this case, time Bd I can directly write it as time Bd is equal to under root 2h divided by g, where h is top of the tower. Like h is tower, that I can substitute here. So final velocity along y direction it is u sine theta plus g into under root 2h divided by g. This is the velocity when it is at position D. Clearly you can understand in this case, when the body is coming down, vertical velocity magnitude increases, horizontal velocity magnitude remains same. Vertical velocity magnitude increases because there is gravitational pull which always pull the body in downward direction. Whereas at position A, from position A, when it is going upward, when it reach this position, I am naming it as P. When the body is reaching from A to P, vertical velocity at P becomes 0 because it is going from A to P upward. Gravitational pull will be in B downward. Therefore, at P, it has only horizontal velocity. Vertical velocity is 0. That we have already discussed in the projectile motion. So I did not teach it again and again.